true. We are live here once again with Coffee with Humans with my new friend, Matt Fox.
Hey.
Matt, welcome to Coffee with Humans.
Hey, thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.
All right, so we got to get a couple things out of the way. Number one, for our new viewers and listeners, I don't know you at all. We've had almost no time to talk.
Yeah.
And so everybody's invited to our first ever, this is the inaugural Matt Fox, Jason Todd coffee chat. So I don't even know where you live or why you would choose to click the button to have coffee with me. So take us away.
So I live in Wisconsin. I'm in Sturgeon Bay. So north of Green Bay, if you're familiar with Wisconsin at all, up in the Door County area. So it's really nice for like 4 months a year, and then it gets really cold.
True story. I went ice climbing up near Sturgeon Bay.
Really? Okay. Awesome. Where do you recall where by chance?
I don't. It was some quarry.
Okay.
Probably 8 years ago.
Okay. So I just moved up here not too long ago. So I'm still getting my lay of the land, and it's not that big of a town, so it's pretty easy because I think everyone already knows everyone up here. And we walked down the street the other day, and I think we said hi to 20 people. So it works out really well. Yeah.
That's really great. That's a nice city to have. Yeah. I walk my neighborhood here where I'm at, and I've been starting to gather names and know people, and because I think it's important. I think it's important to have that sense of community and camaraderie. So why did you choose to click the button to have coffee with me?
I wanted to know what kind of coffee you're drinking. I'm just kidding. But I would like to know. I don't know if anyone's answered yet, but I would like to know.
No, people do not ask me. They don't ask me what kind of coffee I drink. This today is from a mocha pot. It's actually a decaf grind, Don Pablo decaf that I ground. I ground it very finely and put it into my mocha pot, so it's an espresso. And today I added a little bit of fake creamer, fake French vanilla creamer, because I don't know why. It just the mood struck me, and I never have this French vanilla creamer, and it was just sitting in my cabinet. It's like I need to finish that, so it's an espresso with a bit of French vanilla creamer.
There you go. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I'm a regular coffee. I mean, I really like fresh roasted coffee. So I was just kind of curious if it was anything special to a certain area or just the good stuff.
I have a couple different kinds of coffee that I have. I do enjoy an espresso. Yeah. From an Italian mocha pot. That's my jam. And if I'm not doing that, I'll do a pour over.
Oh yeah. Okay.
If in a pinch, well, that's not true. Not in a pinch. I did buy like an old time percolator. Yeah. Like your grandma would have had, not the metal ones like they have at churches, but this like oh shoot, there's a name for it. It's like porcelain or something like that. And I've been known to have coffee from that percolator from time to time. But we espresso today.
Yeah. Okay. We recently bought a camper, like a little travel trailer with the family. And
cool.
To get out and do stuff like that. And we bought initially a percolator, and then I went to the jet boil. I'm not sure if you've seen one of those.
Yeah.
And both of those I've had really bad experiences. It's just like overflowed. I just can't get the temperature right. And then there's grounds in the coffee. So sometimes making it at home is so much easier and better.
I understand. Yeah, we did the camping thing a number of years ago, but had a drip coffee maker. Just brought that along, plugged it in.
Yeah.
I did though bring I used a percolator, my old timey percolator. I was camping earlier this year. Okay. Early spring, like March maybe. It was cold outside, and I was up in Wisconsin. Okay. And put the percolator on top of my my little gas thing because I was tent camping.
Oh wow! Okay. But I have not ventured to that yet. We've just done the camper. So. We actually during like the thick of COVID, we were living in New Mexico, and we were like, okay, well, we're out here, we got to go explore, and then everything shuts down. And so we're like, well, how are we still going to do that? And we got the great idea of buying a camper and exploring where you don't have to stay in a hotel. You can just keep moving, and big distances out west to travel. So it was worth it. So yeah. And then we moved up
good
here.
For you.
We brought it up here. So
wow, that's it's quite a difference, New Mexico up to northern Wisconsin. What temperature is it? What are you? You don't have snow yet.
No snow yet. They actually just put up if you've seen like the stakes in the ground to like line the grass, just plows don't hit it. That's all up here. So it's coming when they put those in the ground.
Yeah, we've hit 30, 28, 30 degrees at night here.
Where are you?
I'm outside Chicago.
Oh, what city?
Rockford.
That's right. Okay, I did see that.
Yeah, so it's getting to be the point where any day now we'll have something overnight, I'm sure, and then it'll go away in the daytime because it's mid 40s or 48, 50 maybe in the daytime, but it'll take a shift here.
Yeah, you're right off the 39 then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, 39 wraps up.
Yep. Oh, I've taken that route many times.
Well, so I asked you to name this chat before we went on the air, and I know I asked people to do that, and they're like, I don't know what to say. But you said, "What does the fox say?" Which is a music. It's a music number, which I think is fantastic. You apparently do too. But what does the fox say? Why are you here, Matt?
Well, so regarding that, what does the fox say? That's obviously my last name, but there's like this little Christmas fox that someone gave us a couple of years ago, and you just hit this button and it does that song over and over again. So our young kids are like, always,
what does the fox say?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did it. Yep. I didn't have to do it. So.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it's good. It's a really good song. I love it.
I figure Christmas is coming up. It's a good time. So, yeah, no, I wanted to join. This seemed like an interesting conversation, a good way to fun. And so part of the reason I thought this was like a fun thing to do, I'm online all the time. And that's kind of the way of the world. I'm remote. So like, this is just like a good way to connect with people. And I've actually been saying anyone I connect with online, like I don't do anything unless we can get on the phone or Zoom and actually talk as people. So I thought this was kind of like just a fun way to tie that all in too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're here. We can talk about anything. I did tell you that before the broadcast. We'll talk about anything. And my normal viewers and listeners, they already know the jam. So this will get redistributed out. It goes out in video and then it'll go out in podcast later. I'm way far behind on the podcast, just so you know. Yeah. Just because there's absolutely no good reason for me being so far behind on the podcast, but it will go out on podcast on Apple and Google Play and Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, other places. But since I got you here, I do know a little bit about you.
Okay.
Because when you signed up, you answered some questions.
Oh, I did do that, didn't I?
And I did zero research, no background check on you at all. So who knows? We could come on here and talk about something. But I said, what are some topics that are recently on your mind? And this was really just to get you thinking, not get me thinking. Because I'm doing zero research.
Yeah, you're good.
But you said you left a corporate job, moved across the country to be with your family. You relocated 7 times in 13 years with 2 young kids. That's a lot of movement with 2 kids. As you know, you lived it.
Yeah. So I was with a very large company. And so that's part of like my mentality of just saying yes. I've had a lot of really cool opportunities because of that, to travel the country, see different parts of the really country that I wouldn't see otherwise. And just by saying yes. So in doing so, in 13 years, relocated 7 times. And it was some fun times, some crazy times. Our kids, so they're pretty young. They're 5 and 4. At the time, it was 3 and 4, but they've already lived in 4 states by the time our daughter was 4. And we just got to a point where like, hey, that can't continue forever. So we had a lot out there. We were just like, okay, if all these things fall in place at the right time, we'll consider a move back close to family. And sure enough, like, the 10 or 15 things that had to happen all fell in order, and here we are. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I guess it was meant to be, right?
I suppose that's true, right? I mean, they do say if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it'll happen, which, I don't know if that's comforting or I don't know.
So
I never know exactly where I land on that. Like I walked around today thinking if it's meant to be, it'll, it's
it's gonna
meant to
happen.
be. At the same time, it's like, no, I think we got to press on the door sometimes, right?
Yeah, you got to challenge it a little bit. But it was kind of just a good test, a good life family test, and the right
Yeah.
time. So it worked out, and we're up here with my brother and his wife live up this way, so we just figured, hey, young kids, let's just enjoy that part of life while we can.
Yeah. Well, and
So
your kids are young enough, they won't remember. But at the same time, that's the ages where like people are really putting down stability in their brains and
right,
understanding who's safe, who's unsafe, and how do I navigate the world socially.
yeah.
How did you establish some level of consistency for the kids when you're moving around so much?
So our first move that my wife and I did, I moved a couple of times before we got married, but the first move we did, it took us forever to meet our first friend out of state. So it just like, it was awkward. It was weird. It was like, do I say hi first? Do they say hi first? And it was like months of seeing this couple, and they had a young kid, and it just like, and finally um, the wife of this family came up and just gave my wife her phone number. And after
Oh,
that, we're like, okay, we're just going to do it every single time. And sure enough, every move since then, we've always like within the first month made a really good close friend and just made that really impactful and intentional in what we do. So it was a good lesson learned, but it took way too long.
yeah. Well, now you know the importance of it for one, and you have some skills to do it, and now you're not afraid to make it happen. Which, back to this idea of if it's meant to happen, it's meant to happen. So but you do press on the door, and then if the
Right.
door opens, then you walk through.
There you go. I like that a little bit better. And here we are, Jason, just sitting down having coffee on camera. Right?
Hmm. And
Yeah.
I wonder what could possibly be the point
Yeah.
of having our coffee chat today, because I look for it every time I have a coffee chat. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what's going to be impactful about this moment. Not that I'm pushing for what's impactful, but I do know, and I am very intentional about making this a space for people to connect and change the world.
Yeah.
So let's just press on that door a little bit. What
Yeah.
are you doing to change the world?
Yeah. So what I do today is I work with business owners as a business advisor, and we basically just are out there helping people grow their business, get more time with their family, hopefully can make a little bit more money along the way. I started this path after doing a lot of different business stuff. Ran my first business at the age of 19 and all that good stuff. So what I really tried to do was figure out how I can, and that was part of our move, not only to get close to family, but I really wanted to say, if I'm going to do something different than what I'm doing today, like I have to believe that I'm adding value back to the world, and just kind of a place that I wanted to be, and I found it. So this is just a really good place, a good space to be in. People are always looking, as you know, for help, and that's what I'm doing.
And you're at cultivateadvisors.com.
Yes, we are. Yep.
I didn't ask you prior to broadcast. No, it's a question I usually do, but I went off script today. I didn't follow my carefully defined script, so I didn't even ask you if you wanted a link on the site. I just took the liberties of putting a link right down there.
Hey, you're good. No problem at all. You're good.
So when you say business advisor, what do you mean?
Yeah. So the way I guess I look at the business and our role in that is it's not necessarily like a coach or a consultant, although some of those things do like pop up. We really like work alongside almost as like a business partner. So as you know, right, not business, small business, medium-sized business. Sometimes it's like one person by themselves. And we oftentimes like work with that person and help drive their strategy, their roadmap, their growth, really help them achieve the goals that they want to achieve. And hopefully I'm pushing them further than they thought they could get themselves. So not in a way where it's more stressful or anything like that, but just, expand their vision of themselves.
Do you use any particular roadmap or framework for working with people?
So everything we do is 100% tailored to that owner. Now we have many, many, many templates that we can pull from, but what I prefer to do is like that every person is in their own spot in life and in their business. And it's really understanding where they're at today and where they want to go in the next year or 3 years or 5 years. Right. So it's really tailored. And then we as like their business partner in some aspects, come in and just like, we drive that roadmap, we build it together, like we're in the business and just help. Yeah.
How long you been doing this?
I've been with Cultivate for give or take 6 months or so. But I've been in the business world for about 15 years, again, running my own business. So what Cultivate looks for is pulling in former business owners and, business leaders out there to help grow.
Have you done any research on me?
I have. You want to talk a little? I'm not going to ask you that question because I know, your audience has probably heard it already.
No, people don't know about me. But
you want to share?
It's totally fine. I'm the coffee guy. I'm the coffee with humans man.
But I did go to your website that you have listed under your name. If I can point, where is it? Over there. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's why I was curious when you're like, I do business advisory work, because I've given that same speech. Last night I was bowling and some guy's like, management consultant. And I was like, I never said that. And I said, you said that, I think, last week when you said what, or like 2 or 3 weeks ago, where he was like, what do you do? And I was like, you might have thought management consulting, but that's not what I'm doing. Yeah. And and so then I because I was bowling, I decided not to go into any more depth. I'm just there to have fun. But business advisory work, like you talked about, is different than coaching. Sure. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than management consulting.
How do you position yourself?
As a holistic business advisor.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And similar to your comment, I mean, there's so many businesses out there. There's hundreds of thousands, if not more, that are out there, and it's always kind of interesting because I do enjoy talking to people in this space. But like you just said, when you go bowling or you do something on your own, sometimes you want to leave. You're like, how much it can interact with your personal life all day, every day, right?
Yeah, and I do a good job of staying out of it most of the time. I don't, just because I've done it for so many years. Yeah. And I just it gets me in. It's not that it gets me in trouble, but like this past summer, I was having dinner, or sorry, yeah, I thought that was a dinner. So just having dinner with my daughter, teenage daughter, and some dude, the waiter, in fact, comes up, and I don't even know how he got onto, what do you do or whatever. Yeah, I guess he was just looking. He's getting an angle for a better tip, or so, I don't know. And then he's like, oh, I got an idea. And then he started talking to me about some business idea that he had. And the thing is, everybody's got a business idea. And the vast majority of them are terrible. And the other ones, the other majority of, like, and then if you take that down, the other majority, so let's say like 80% of all business ideas are terrible. And then the 20% that is left, 80% of those, like, they could be good, but nobody's going to follow through with it anyhow. And then the 20% of that, it's like, so that's neat. You got an idea. Here's my number if you want to follow through with it. And he's never going to. Right. He forgot, I'm certain, that we had that conversation 3 hours later. But it's like hot to go right then. So I've just learned to stay out of those conversations entirely.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, because I've, even in like past business world that I was in, you cannot want it more than someone else, right? So like you just have to, like, I could help you. You have a great idea. I think you could make a lot of money doing this, but like, I can't be more passionate about it than you are.
That is a lesson I learned. I mean, I feel like it took me a long time. I don't know how long it should take a person to learn that, but I felt like it took me a long time, because I like this altruistic streak in me too. I just like want to do good in the world for some reason. Yeah. And so somebody would come in and they'd be like, I want to do this thing. And I'd be like, oh, this is cool. And they'll expand it in this thing. And I realized, like you talk about, two important things. One is, you can't want it more than somebody else. Right. Because they need to ultimately lead this thing, which then dovetails into the second thing, which I learned the hard way, which is don't turn it into your project. Right. Don't create something that they couldn't possibly understand or manage. Yeah. Make sure you keep it in, whatever these harebrained ideas that I can come up with, just because, like, I've got a wealth of experience and knowledge and skills that this person doesn't have. Keep the strategy and direction and the amount of moving parts, something that person actually wants. Give them their life, even though you might look at it and go, I wouldn't want that. Well, it doesn't matter what you want. It's not your life. So those two things I think were pretty big takeaways, which now keeps me out of most conversations.
Yeah, that's actually that second one. I like that because we talk often of like when you're trying to understand what a business needs or where their gap is or something like that, and then but you might see all these other 100 things, but you have to stay focused on what someone wants because otherwise it doesn't make as big of an impact.
Well, that's where you said, how do you position yourself? I position myself as a holistic business advisor because I think I've started businesses, run businesses, sold businesses, helped other people start things. I've had failed businesses. I feel like I've done the gamut. I've done it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's all packed away here in my brain, which makes me a pretty good advisor because I know what roads are good to go down. I also know what it's like to just blaze a trail that shouldn't be blazed. One of the things that has stuck out for me in that is, you don't take a person down a road that they don't want to go down, but also this idea that sometimes it's easiest to run a business and lose your life. And don't do that. Because ultimately you want to create something that adds value to that individual's life. If they have, I tell people this when I get in conversations, I tell people this. I said there's a quick way to lose money. That's to start a business. There's a quick way to get money, and that's to get a job. And so you got to be sure. Do you really want to start a business? And is this, especially if you're then running a business, is this business adding to your life? Holistically, is this creating the lifestyle that you want? Because you could stop at any point in time, maybe make more money with less responsibility and be happier by getting a job.
Less stress.
Exactly. So check is like this. Is this business there for your ego? Or is this really because it's creating the lifestyle that you want to live, that you actually want to live? And that's why I look at it from a holistic standpoint. I like to having done some things the hard way. I want to make sure, hey, are you really getting the life that you want? Because if you're not, don't have a business. Dear Lord, don't do that.
So
that's not going to fix problems. It's going to create some.
So why did you get into the business world? What brought you that way? I'm kind of curious, like your path.
I grew up in a family that was an entrepreneurial family. We owned a truck, well, still do, I guess, own a trucking company in the area, and so when I was first starting out in just doing stuff, I was a self-taught programmer and kind of a loner of sorts, and I was just creating stuff. I just wanted to create stuff, so I always did that. And people would pay me to help fix their computer problems and whatnot. And I never knew that you could do anything different. Like I was like, you just start a business. Like you start a business, you start collecting money and pay some bills. And I did get into retail and did a handful of other things and hated retail. Was good at it, but left it and went into marketing and that type of stuff for some other organizations because I had some of the skill set. I had the technical skill set and I had the sales brain for whatever reason, just a mix and match, set of skills. Uncommon set of skills, let's say. And after I was at an organization for 2 years or something like that, selling people on great ideas that they didn't understand. And I knew it was like, this is great for your business. And they'd be like, no, we're not going to do that. I'd be like, fine then. And I got all sassy with myself and I said, fine, I'm going to do it myself. So I started a business with a friend of mine. He was in sales, and I was a technical account executive. So here's how this would go. The sales guy would set the appointments and he'd walk in there, but he don't know shit about what's going on.
Right.
And so then I go there and I'm there to actually tell people what's going to happen and how we're going to do this stuff. And we had this good rapport back and forth between us. And then having gone on a number of sales calls, we were finally like, let's do something on our own. So it was the beginning of October 2002 over drinks that he said, I have an idea for what we could sell online. And I was like, clue me in. And he said, I think we could sell air cleaners and then air purifiers. And then we could break off into air conditioners and furnaces and other stuff. And I was like, cool. I know nothing about this, but I'm a quick study and I could do everything else. And so I wrote the software. I did all the marketing stuff. I did all the graphics. I built the back end of this whole system while he added products to the website. And then by the end of October 2002, we took our first order, which was an air cleaner.
Oh, cool.
And then sure enough, we had air purifiers, air conditioners, furnaces. And then 9 years later or so, I sold my portion of that business and stepped away. But I didn't know, that. I mean, I've always made the assumption that you could just do what you want to do. And that is ultimately an entrepreneur, do what you want to do. And we looked at the marketplace at that point in time. Well, he looked at the marketplace and said, here's what he knew about air conditioning and furnace and air cleaners and our, HVAC products. And I knew everything else. And we came together and made it happen. And it was, awesome. It was a great road. It's a tough road. It gave us a good lifestyle.
Yep.
And then I retired for a little bit after I sold that business and traveled. And then stupidly started doing more stuff. And I should have just stayed retired.
But that's the entrepreneurial mindset.
It was, but you know what? Now I've learned to temper that and be like, whoa, stop creating.
Yeah.
Just sit down for a little while. Take a walk. If you got anxious energy, dear Lord, don't create something else. Just go for a walk. It'll get out of you. And you'll be like, all right, I'm done. Or go on a coffee chat with me.
If for nothing else, this is a good conversation for me because I'm like currently in that space where in this role, like it's in some aspects it's slowed down a little bit from what I was doing prior in more of like an entrepreneurial role. And so now I'm like, my mind is just running. And I'm like, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do that? And just go for a walk. Like, just do that. Have coffee. I think this is good for me. This is a good therapy session.
Well, good. Take my advice here. The one thing that I got myself into trouble pretty heavily with was when something wasn't working or I had some sort of anxious energy, I would do more creative work because I was good at it. I'd create something to fix the thing that wasn't working or to get myself out of the anxiety. And that is not the thing to do. The answer is always stop. Yeah. Always stop doing something. It's like if you're out hiking, right? And you're like, you start to get frantic, like, where am I at? Where am I going? Am I going to make it there? Right? You start speeding up instead of stopping for a moment and going, okay, what am I so worried about? Relax. What should I not be doing? Yep. Where am I at? You take some advice and just like sit back for a moment. And that's what I've had to learn how to do. Is to stop creating stuff. Just say no. When in doubt, say no. Otherwise, like I had a terrible sales guy once, and I knew it. He was bad.
Yeah.
But I had this altruistic streak in my heart, and I was like, we could do this. I could teach him.
Yep.
We could make this happen. And so I thought, well, he can't seem to sell this confusing set of services that we have. And so instead of making the service offerings less confusing, I created a magazine. And I thought, well, he could sell advertising. Yeah. And that fits well with our clientele and our customers. And I've always wanted to own, like, now we could own our media, which I thought is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
And so I did. I created a magazine to help a salesperson who couldn't sell. But you know what? A salesperson who can't sell can't sell.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the end. That's like, it's not like a salesperson who can't sell this can sell that. That's not true.
No.
The salesperson who can't sell for whatever reason
just
can't sell. And I'm not in sales consulting to teach people how to sell. So why am I spending so much effort? The answer is fire him.
Yeah. Right. Well, and what's worse from just that entrepreneur mindset that we're just talking about, where it's always like more, it's also an entrepreneur who also sees the glass half full, where you're always like very positive. You're like, I can do this. I got this. And because I'm that way. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is easy. This will just take me a few hours. But it's, right.
Absolutely. I mean, people are great. People around me were very supportive of all the things I would ever do, which is nice. They'd be like, you can do it. I know that. That's the trouble. That's actually part of my problem. I could.
Yeah.
I might be able to be successful at it. Yeah. But here's what's going to happen. I'm going to create that, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's going to work.
Yeah. And no one outside of you might enjoy it as much as you do either.
Oh,
right?
I've created all sorts of things that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they were awesome. I mean, people were like, damn, that's a really good magazine. It was. It was real good. Real good. I lost a ton of money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It was not healthy for my life at all.
Yeah.
But wow, what a great experience. What a great magazine. So
Yep. And you
I'm a
learn.
big fan of just saying no.
Yep. Well, I'm going to give, I don't know. I think it was Warren Buffett. I'm going to give him credit, even if it wasn't him. But I heard like the thing where you make a list of all your things that you have to do and then cross off like the bottom 80-20 or the bottom 80% of them. So you just have the top couple. And it's like, okay, that's the only thing that's really important in your life is like those few things. Don't worry about
That's
anything.
true.
Yeah.
Well, he also said something. I mean, he was back in the day of dance cards when you'd go to a dance and you have a little card and you just so many punches and then you were done. Your dances are done, right? And so he said at one point in time that the business or opportunities are like a dance card. If you're only gonna have like 10 things you're ever gonna invest in your life, that's gonna slow you down a little bit, right? Because you're really gonna put some thought into, is this something that I really want to do? And then there's another guy. What was his name? Shoot. Is he with Y Combinator? I can't remember. He talked about $10,000. Like if this is gonna if I'm gonna spend this hour doing this is gonna add $10,000 to my life.
Yeah.
Either now or in the future, and if it's not, then I'm going to say no to it. Just as a way of prioritizing all the things that he could possibly do. And I've been really bad at that in my life of really prioritizing and just letting things drop off. And then I've gone way too far to the other side where it's just like, just let everything drop off.
Right.
And you know, coming into some sort of agreement with yourself about what's important, what's not important, that ultimately is a really good task to figure out. And it's a whole hell of a lot easier to do it for somebody else, which is why I'm a business advisor.
Transition. But you know, there is something about like, even if it does, I mean, I really like that mindset because you would change what you do in a day if you said, is this going to make me $10,000 or not? But there is something to be said about enjoying what you do. Like not everything that would make me 10 grand is like, I'm going to feel impactful or even like ethical. Right. But like, there's like other things that you're like, you know what, I can go sit here and write some code. Like you just, right. It's like, that's fun. Yeah. That's enjoyable. I can do some marketing stuff. That's fun.
Absolutely. I write poetry. I do a lot of journaling and it's very cathartic for me. And it's not just like, here's the things I want to get out of my head. Sometimes it's lessons learned or essays or something like that. These big, profound thoughts that I need to work through somehow.
Yeah.
I don't want to bore other people in my life with working them through with them. And there are sometimes there are certain people in my life who they'll listen to me, drone on, and they'll add to it. And that's awesome. I need that. Right. Yeah. But sometimes I'll just like pour that out. Is it useful in that moment? No, not especially. But does it get it out of my head? And that's super important because it clarifies these thoughts. And then I use them later on. They always come back out. I tell people, be a river, not a dam. Like whatever you're taking into your life, don't store it up behind some dam. That's crazy town. Yeah. Let it go. Let it sift through there. Clarify it if you can, and then send it back downstream. That's the way you add value to the world. And how are you going to do that? I don't know. But when the mood strikes you, go do something. I created Coffee with Humans just for that reason, just to make it easy to connect. And then I went intentionally, listen, if we're going to connect, we're going to make the world a better place through that. I am a 100% believer in that. And it's the only reason I continue to do Coffee with Humans. It makes me $0.
Yep.
I can tie it to no business. I don't even try to. You had to pull it out of me. What the hell I even do with my life? Right. But I have met so many people around the world, and we have had profound conversations that have dramatically impacted my life and dramatically impacted the lives of either the guests or people who watch. It's been amazing. And so I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I, in a similar approach, just when I talk to people, and I talk to a lot of business owners from that aspect of my life, just in a given day, that's who I'm talking to, right? But I don't and similar to you, probably, you don't have to work with everyone, but I can be a great like resource or partner for you. Like, what do you need, right? Like, let me give back. I don't know. We've spent not you and me, but I'm spending time on a phone with someone. It's like, let me at least connect you with someone that's going to help your life or help your business, right? So that's, I mean, business is great, but so like feeling that you gave someone a little bit more than they thought they could get out of that conversation is pretty cool too.
Oh, absolutely. I've got I don't know how many, probably almost 9,000 LinkedIn connections, and surprisingly, people will still pick up my phone call, and and you know, and sometimes I wonder why they would do that, knowing me. But when people need a connection, like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And due to whatever skill set I have, I can make connections in my brain that other people can't make for whatever reason. That's fine. And so I'll go, oh, here's something to think about. Plus, here's the person you need to talk to, and then I'll shoot a mutual intro, and then I stay out of it. That's where I go, and I'm gone. Instead of, I think the previous me would have been like, and I'm going to sit there and dabble in that just because I have like passive interest or something, or because I think I can add more value. The truth is I can't. Yeah. I'm done adding value in that. And if you think I can add value, you'll come back, and then I will send you back an email. Like I've got in the mood here. This guy contacted me the other day. He's like, I really would love to have you on my podcast. I've had these types of people on, blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about SEO. Yeah. Search engine optimization. And I've done that. And so I wrote back to him, because he then contacted me. He said, I haven't heard back from you. I'd really love to have you as a guest. And then I said, what do you think? What value do you think I could add that your previous guests have not already added? If you've already had those experts on, why would you want to talk to me? I don't want to talk to me. How can I do better than that? I mean, if you've already had, like, here's the top 10 things you should do to optimize your website, you don't need me on. Those are the top 10. And I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I care about this much about your SEO.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm going to pass you off to somebody who has been involved in that for years. I mean, that is a rabbit hole. I did that prior, and I get it. It's important for sure. Yeah. Can I add value in that? Not a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nope.
That's really funny.
and that's me exercising, just saying no. Previous me, I would have been like, yeah, let's go have a chat about SEO. Like, no, you can't add any more in that. You're not an expert.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's really about bringing in the right people into someone's life, and that's it. Like, then just stay away. So that's cool.
Uh-huh. All right. So what else do you want to talk about? We've covered covered business advisory work.
Yeah. So I'm curious, because I know the area that you live, I think.
Yeah, talk to me.
So bowling, it's probably similar to a lifestyle where I live. What else are you doing out there?
Wow. All right. So here's how I've never been a huge bowler.
Okay.
I bowled years and years ago before it was illegal to smoke indoors. So my wife and I were in a little bowling league with some friends from church, and
did you have
we had a stroller with two children in it at one point in time.
Okay.
And we were there bowling, and it was like non-smoking on the lanes, and then smoking behind the lanes or something, like, which is like not a thing. Smoke moves through the air. I don't know how you could just, like, the mystic curtain or something.
Yep.
So so that's the last time I bowled. And then 2 years ago, maybe 3, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, a friend of mine said, hey, we have a opening on the league, and we need to fill it with somebody, just a warm body, and you're as good as anybody, because this is the beer pizza wing league.
Oh, perfect.
Where everybody gets a handicap. So to win, you just have to get progressively better.
Okay.
Or you have to just bowl your average and people don't have to, people can't beat you or whatever. It's just total number of points per game.
It's like golf. It's just, you're beating yourself in some aspects. Yeah,
totally. So I bowl Monday nights with these gentlemen. I've come to really enjoy it. I mean, it's a great time to just be out with the guys and shoot the shit and bowl. And now I've got my own bowling ball because I got a free one. If I join the league, I got a free ball.
Oh, really? Cool.
And then a couple of weeks ago, I bought my own bowling shoes. I haven't had my own bowling shoes, and now I've got my own bowling shoes.
Nice.
And now I get to mock everybody else who's got like 4 bowling balls and bionic arms and stuff like that they're doing.
We've been holding off on doing bowling as a family, but I might just have to join a men's league or something. But they're not too far from us. There's a bowling alley, and I drive by it all the time. I'm like, I have not been bowling in years, but we're gonna do it this winter when there's nothing else to do up here. So That'll be the fun. And they always have like the Tuesday night wing special. And so I'll go search for leagues on Tuesday nights. I like that idea.
It's a lot of fun. It goes for our league goes for I think 13 weeks, something like that. 3 games a night, which is a lot. I feel two games, and I'm like, I think we're good here. But 3 games, I could never do more than that. Yeah, by any stretch. But 3 games is like, okay, we're good, and it's just a couple of guys that they're very good friends now, and some of them were. I mean, they were friends. Some of them were friends before. 2 or 3 of them were friends before, but
bowling, I mean, even holding that ball like for three games, that like you have to be sore after that.
Well, I'm reasonably fit already.
Okay. Yeah.
And what I've discovered is that at 43 years old, I need to warm up a little bit, or things get a little bit twisty in weird ways.
Yeah.
That maybe that happened before and I just never knew, but now I know. My body's like, hold up, Jacko.
Yeah.
So I do some stretches and I hold the bowling ball, right? And like even now, I can feel this shoulder's a little bit tight, and so I do shoulder rotations like this, and then stretching across. And then after I've done all that, then I have a pretty good form, and my body and my hand and stuff have really come to just really be able to grasp the ball well.
That's awesome. Good for you.
So that's what you have to look forward to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm based on what you just said, I'm a little bit younger than you, but I've hit the point where I've realized that like I'm not what I used to be from a flexibility, from a pain, like, and so it's probably like every decade or every 5 years it starts to probably speed up. It's like you just start feeling it more and more. So that's funny. Yeah,
I just know how I need to attend to my body in ways that I didn't need to attend to it before. Or never thought. Maybe I should have, and or maybe I did, and I didn't even think about it. I don't even remember, honestly. Yeah. But bowling is great. I think you should try it at least.
I'm gonna do it. I think that's a good winter thing up here. So we'll do that. Very cool.
Here's a business idea for somebody.
Anyone listening.
Anybody who wants to take this on. And Matt, I'll throw Matt under the bus here and say that you could take him to.
Awesome.
He could be your advisor as you work this through. So I think that we ought to have virtual bowling tournaments.
Ooh.
Or virtual bowling leagues where I'm bowling in Rockford, and then I'm bowling against you up in Sheboygan.
Yes. That's awesome. I like.
Why do we have to be in the same spot anymore? It's 2021. It's almost 2022.
Yeah, let's get over you have to see someone physically these days. It's you can bowl.
You could be enjoying your beer pizza wings. I could be enjoying my beer pizza wings. We could be giving each other shit on the television screens.
Yeah, with 3D glasses. I mean,
we could do that. Yeah, and you're bowling on your lane. I'm bowling on my lane, and we're just, we're communicating. The computer systems ought to be able to communicate. Why do we have to be in the same spot? I don't understand.
I might not even need to go to the bowling alley. So, no, I joke.
Well,
that's the place to be. They got the beer.
You have to be at the alley. You can't. It's not. That would be illegal. That would be non-sanctioned event to be able to be doing virtually at your house.
Yeah, exactly.
U.S. Bowling Committee or whoever, the bowling cloud mother overlords. I don't know who they are, but the bowling people would come down hard on you. I mean, if you tried to intercept the league virtually.
You don't get that smell at home, so
you don't. Nope, you don't get the foot smell. Nope, you don't get the oops, I fell wrong, and the ball hit my leg, and you don't get the mockery of the people behind you.
Yep.
Last night we were on a tear, but it was coming down to the wire with these guys,
really,
who are full on nerds. And one of the guys he actually worked for me years ago.
Yeah.
And so I know he's a full on nerd. And they like talking computers and all sorts of stuff. And I'm a computer guy. This is why I can say that.
Yeah.
But we were like fighting it out to the end. And then they just started bombing. And I was like, oof, wow, that's really terrible. But I mean, I am trying to beat you. So I'm glad you suck.
So do you
right
do anything
now.
else? Do you do golf or any other sports or anything?
I'll do 9 holes of golf periodically.
Okay. You were talking about joining a league. I just had someone over the weekend say he does a Tuesday night golf league and they play, I think it's like 5 holes, and then but it's like a shotgun. So everyone's out on a different hole, and then everyone meets at a certain hole on number 5 with the beer cart, and then they all go play the back 4 together or something and get beers.
Wow.
That actually sounds
yes.
Like yeah.
Dial me into that. I would do that.
Why have I been playing 18 holes all these years?
Oh my God. I gave up an 18 forever ago. I couldn't do it. I was just angry with myself. I would be so annoyed.
Yeah.
I get about 8 holes in, maybe 7 holes in. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
Depending on the course. So I belong to a club here, not too far from here, which has hella long. I mean, it is so long, way too long for a guy like me. And then there's this shorter course, which, it's like 150 to 270 yards in that range, right? Whereas this other one's like 450 yards, 512 yards. You're like, I'm never going to get through this.
Yeah.
And the short one though, you go out in the morning, and an hour and a half later, you're done.
Perfect.
And the long one though, you do have to have the cart drag you, come around periodically, or, I mean, how else will you lose track of time?
Right.
On this, beating the ground with the metal stick.
Yeah. I don't play often, but I play enough where I enjoy it. So I'll try and get out there. So when we were in New Mexico, I would try and play like just a different course, something I haven't done before. And it's all desert scape out there for those who haven't been there, but it's just like patches of really green grass, and then it's desert. So if you don't have like a great aim and a distance, you just hate your life for that day. And it's right. Like, that's the hard part about golf. Different than others. I don't know. It's just like, who wants to wake up in the morning, play really bad, and then have a rough rest of the day? I don't know.
Right. Exactly. No, I'm down with the short course. I've got some neighbors who go, and I play with my dad, my son once in a while.
Yeah.
Good times though.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on the end of our time here, Mr. Matt Fox.
Yep.
So as we're leaving here, this was entitled "What Does the Fox Say?" And the fox has said a lot. But is there any parting words? What did you take away from today? Maybe that's too deep.
No.
But what are your parting words for our viewers and listeners?
Yeah.
What does the fox say?
I really enjoyed the time. Thank you. I think. So the thing we talked about really early on was just saying yes. And even to this, like just trying a new experience, doing something a little bit different, having fun with it. That's what it's all about. So just say yes in life, but push back a little bit, as you said, Jason. You gotta, there is that piece I agree with.
All right. Well, on that note, Matt, thanks so much for joining me with Coffee with Humans. Great to have you on. Great to know you. And I'm sure that we will talk soon. For all our viewers and listeners, Coffee with Humans is a live streamed chat where strangers become friends in an effort to make the world a better place. You can find us periodically live. You can also find me on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, all the places you find normal podcasts. And we'll be back next time with another Coffee with Humans.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.